pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess it's the pledge, it's not the flag.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah, nice, like nothing specific like that.
Bryce
I mean, it was
Steiner?
just that.
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
Approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yep.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
We have special meeting minutes as well.
Move we approve.
Second.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yeah.
and Kenny Reinhardt. They
Yes.
both did. Flip the vote. I didn't sign one, I don't think. Financials,
Approval of expenditures.
Yeah, I have a question. The police radio was on page, this is page 5, $506.94. Is that for 2 months?
Police cell phones.
Yeah.
oh, yeah. For some reason, the bill for the AT&T for the police department is in George's name, and I don't get it.
So it's $253 a
Yes.
month?
Yes.
How many phones?
I don't know how many phones are on that plan.
I'm not on it. I can't call and check on it. I can't do anything with it because it doesn't have my name on it. So I don't know.
I'll give them George. That sounds
I would
good.
guess 3 of them, just, full time.
It also has the cars. Their cars have the computers in their cars, so
Yeah,
it's for
has the Wi-Fi.
wireless.
For that too?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
included on
okay.
AT&T. I know that, and I think they have 2, one in each cruiser, so that's on there as well.
Okay. All right, I'll talk to George about it. Oh, the oil changes, is that, there's oil changes are in there twice, is that?
Is that the fire trucks?
Fire trucks.
Yeah, there's 4 of them,
Yes.
and all 4 of them, they went in different times so that they
That's
could
why
get them.
there's 2 bills, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So that's all I
No.
have. I'll make a motion to approve,
I'll second.
Kenny Reinhardt,
yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yeah.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on the police report? You've got the EMS report in your packets too. Is there any questions on that?
Just a good job to you guys. Looks like you're busy. I don't know what the average running, but
Very busy.
378, that seems like a lot, so.
Okay, Amy?
Okay, we're on the 3rd reading, ordinance number 2022-27, an ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to reside outside the village of Antwerp.
What if we turn this down?
We're looking for a new.
You'll look for a new fiscal officer.
Can I comment on that? Is that okay to comment since, Amy, I think you're doing a fine job, but I don't like the idea of discouraging people to live in town, and I think that's kind of what this does. We're at the lowest population that we've had since 1960. And I want to put that out there, especially because this is supposed to be an elected position. And it
No.
was,
It's an appointed
No.
position.
it was,
Not elected.
didn't it used to be an elected position?
It's a combined office that we no longer have a clerk treasurer. It's
Right.
been combined a fiscal officer, so it's an appointed position. It was that way
It-
before Amy.
You're right, I know, it was
Yeah,
before,
so
I'm not complaining
fiscal
about
officer is
Amy.
an appointed position.
Right, and it used to be,
Only
That-
when it was split.
right,
A fiscal officer is always appointed, never
Yeah.
elected.
okay.
And that's
But-
what we have in the
Okay.
village.
And thanks for
Yeah.
clarifying that. But I don't, it just seems like it encourages people to not stay in the village. But that's all I got.
I would just say, like, to your point, I see what you're saying, but I think just in Amy's, like, if anybody questions her love for this village and her devotion to this village, I think we'd send them to the doctor to get checked out. But maybe, like, moving forward, if she decides to leave the position and we're going to hire a new position, we can always.
They have to be a resident. You would have to do the same process.
Okay. So then we get to that point. I mean,
I know.
if it switches, but I mean, I get what you're saying as well. So.
Yeah.
Our chief of police is the same thing.
Yeah, Amy lived in town when
I
she
know.
took that position.
I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion, we approve.
I'll
Second.
second.
Who was my second? Brian Smith?
Jason.
I think there was
Jason.
a tie on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Dean
We do.
Reister?
Yes.
Any further
Jason Frank?
discussion? I'm
Oh,
sorry, just
sorry.
before we do the roll call, any further discussion on this? Okay, go ahead, sorry.
That's okay. Dean Reister?
Yes.
Jason Franks?
Yes.
Bryce Steiner?
No.
Steve Jordan?
Yes.
And Kenny Reinhardt?
Yes.
And Brian Smith?
Yeah.
The next one is ordinance number 2023-01, an ordinance authorizing the village, oh, wait, I gave you the wrong one. No, that's right.
You did
2023-01, the ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to transfer $114,000 from the general fund to the police fund and declaring the same an emergency.
Make a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll second.
Dean Reister?
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt?
Yes.
Bryce Steiner?
Yes.
Jason Franks?
Yes.
Steve Jordan?
Yes.
And Brian Smith?
Yes.
This money has already been allotted, is in the budget, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. This is just something authorizing to move the money itself.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing is that it's an emergency reading, and, if we could just get to where there's a threshold where we have this, where we get 3 readings, and we can stop the emergency reading, I would be in favor of that.
This is what we used to do when I got on here, and it was an emergency reading every 3 months to transfer a 25 or 30% of this amount. So when I got on, I suggested to Amy that we just do a big transfer at the beginning of the year, do 1 emergency reading, and that way it's in there instead of doing a reading. Basically what it would be is a new ordinance. Every month we would be doing a reading on the ordinance.
Right.
So we're accomplishing the same thing.
Dean, I think you need to explain to him why it's an emergency in January,
Because there's no money left in the budget, and you've got to put his money in the budget.
and we can't roll it over into the next year. We can't transfer it early in 2022
Because it's
and
not
roll it
allotted yet.
because it's a transfer. We have to prove that we need the money in there.
Gotcha.
So this will never change. This will always be an emergency unless we do something different and bring more money in from police levies.
Gotcha.
In that instance, you'll see when we read like the severance pay fund, that's not an emergency.
All right, where are we?
A motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion before roll call?
I'm sorry.
No, you did right. Any further discussion? No. Okay, so roll call.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
and Dean Reister.
Yes.
Okay, Jan, that one's for you. Ordinance number 2023-02, this is an ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to transfer $15,000 from the general fund to the street lighting fund and declaring the same an emergency.
Will this cover the whole year?
We hope so, yes.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they don't raise our rates again. Yeah. I'll make a motion to
I'll second.
Suspend.
suspend, yeah.
Who was the second? Steve Jordan? Bryce Steiner?
Yes.
Steve Jordan?
Yes.
Jason Franks?
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt?
Yes.
Dean Reister?
Yes.
Brian Smith?
Yes.
And again, just to explain this one, same thing. There's not enough money to pay January bills, we have to do it as an emergency.
Yeah, a question on that. We have got driving around town in the evenings, a lot of streetlights that are in need of repair. Has that been addressed?
If they
When, if they tell us, the streetlights are not owned by the village.
Correct.
Okay, so as a service, when people contact me, I go online and I notify AEP. Anyone can do it. They just go to AEP, I think it's .com, then it says report a street light out. You go in, you click on that you don't own it, and then you just fill the little information out and you send it in. That creates a work order at AEP.
Anyone can do that?
Anyone can do that.
Okay.
And it's still in line that in probably another year, they're gonna go to the LED lights.
Over
Well,
the
they're
next
doing that
5
now when
years,
they were-
over the next 5
Next
years.
5 years, okay. The repairs that are made
Yep.
include LED lighting at this point, correct?
Yeah, I taken, I mean, there's some weeks where I'll do as many as 18,
Okay.
and there's weeks where I'll do 1. But yeah, anybody can go in online to AEP and do it.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't know that. So what do we need? Where we at?
Motion
Motion to
passed.
approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Kenny Reinhardt?
Yes.
Jason Franks?
Yes.
Bryce Steiner?
Yes.
Steve Jordan?
Yes.
Dean Reister?
Yes.
And Brian Smith.
Yes.
This is the first reading on ordinance number 2023-03, an ordinance authorizing the village fiscal officer to transfer $9,576.25 from the general fund to the severance pay reserve fund.
Is this something that's normal, or is this something that something came up and somebody's suing us?
We've had this, I think, for 3 years.
Yeah, four, maybe 5, I don't know.
It's allowed under a certain section of transferring funds and setting up special funds to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think why we originally did it is because we did have some people that had, would be entitled to quite a bit of money if they would terminate their employment, resign, or retire. And so we started budgeting for that.
The
So
state
this goes
auditor-
into its own account.
So your auditor
The
suggested.
state auditor told us we need to put money, so like if you have 10 years in
Mhm.
here and you're at the retirement age, you can retire, you get half of your sick time that's left in the,
Mm.
and we have several that are
Okay,
at that age, so we have to make sure we have money in the budget to pay them when they,
Yeah.
and that's why this isn't an emergency,
yeah,
because, and then we keep adding to it every year, whatever they earned the year before,
okay, so this is some kind of a percentage of people's incomes?
50%
Okay,
of their sick time that
Okay.
they have available to them.
okay.
Okay.
Are people using sick time, or are they accumulating it for retirement?
Gotta ask
We
the
use it
employees.
when we're sick.
Yeah, but I just wonder if you've noticed anybody having sick time.
Sick time doesn't get used very often.
That was the first reading, right?
First reading.
Ordinance number 2023-04, an ordinance adopting the personnel manual for the village of Antwerp, Ohio, including any and all amendments thereto and all applicable statements attached thereto for calendar year 2023 and declaring the same an emergency.
This is for an emergency because we have to have this in place every year. So.
Is there changes to the book?
No,
Just the same?
every year.
How do
it's
you get a
just,
copy of the book?
Oh, I'm off. I'm
Is
sure
it-
you have it in your office.
Can you email it or something?
Sure.
Okay.
So,
I'll make a motion to suspend so we can keep our employees.
doesn't quite do that,
Oh.
but
Oh, okay, okay.
it does at least have a vehicle.
Thank you anyways.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
and Dean Reister.
Yes.
Did we get that collection of ORC stuff that we approved? That was it, what you mentioned in the email? Okay.
Nope, that's why you got a new agenda.
Okay.
That was just a suspend, right?
That was.
Yeah, so we need a motion.
So I'll motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Brian Smith?
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt?
Yes.
Bryce Steiner?
Yes.
Jason Franks?
Yes.
Steve Jordan?
Yeah.
Dean Reister?
Yes.
Do you wanna do this part first? Mel?
Huh?
Does this come
No,
first?
that's just an attachment to the agenda.
Okay. Ordinance number 2023-05, an ordinance authorizing the village administrator to enter into third addendum to the agreement for collection, transportation, and disposal of residential solid waste within the corporate limits of the village of Antwerp, Ohio.
Just to remind everybody from last year, the agreement for, trash collection is a year to year. So in order to be able to renew it for the term that always starts April 1st of the year, there's 3 readings of the ordinance to authorize the addendum. I think probably coming up on the agenda, maybe under new business, is to discuss real waste, and if you want to move forward with the renewal, because then you'll have to authorize Brian to send that notice of intention that's required by the agreement. But this at least starts the process, that we can do 3 readings before it has to.
Yeah, what I don't understand, didn't we do a 5-year contract?
It's 1 year, then there's 4 renewal periods, so it's total of 5
Five.
possible,
Okay,
but it's renewable each year.
and they didn't raise our rates, right?
No, it's set under the contract. I know there is a provision where they can, but I don't know if you
Yeah,
They have
heard
not.
anything.
But these
Okay.
are the fuel went up, they could raise, yeah. So what do we need here then?
Nothing.
Nothing.
The last one's resolution number 2023-01, a resolution authorizing the administrator of the village of Antwerp, Ohio, to prepare and submit an equipment grant application with the Ohio EPA and to execute contracts as required to obtain financial assistance for purchasing equipment necessary to exercise distribution system valves and perform leak detection in the public waters distribution system and declaring the same an emergency.
This is a grant the Ohio EPA just put out. It's due by, I think, January 25th. Just a quick turnaround. We can have up to 10,000. We need 2 items that would cost 8,400, and the grant's ready to be submitted. Just have to have the authorization.
Make a motion to suspend the rules?
Second that.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yeah.
Steve Jordan.
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt.
Yes.
Dean Reister.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Will that, is there a chance we actually get this, Brian?
I'm sorry?
Is there a chance we get this grant? I mean,
There's always a chance, Bryce.
okay.
I mean, I feel good about it because it's only for communities of 10,000 people or less in population. And I think that based on what they're willing to give,
Mhm.
I'm hopeful that we would be able to get it.
And this is for the digital meter?
What it'll do is it'll provide us a digital meter that will determine or detect leaks in water lines, but also it will detect water lines and electrical lines and things. There's 2 different pieces
Okay.
and stuff. So we currently have at least a locator, but it's old. We don't have a leak detector that's any good. So, I mean, it would be very beneficial for us to get this.
So, and so this will pay 100% of that since it's only like $8,000, is that what I'm
The
reading?
grant's up to $10,000, and it doesn't say anything about providing any
Matches.
percentage or
Okay.
matches.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I would think that leak detector would pay for itself pretty quickly.
with our history, yes.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules if that's what we need.
We're
We
in
need to
motion. I
pass.
think we already did a
Okay.
motion, and we already had a second.
Right, that's right, I
We
skipped
just,
that
if
part.
there's no further discussion, we can do a roll call.
Okay,
Any
I'll,
further discussion? Okay, go ahead.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Steve Jordan.
Yes.
Bryce Steiner.
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith. Next thing on the agenda for me is the Paulding Economic Development Membership for 2023.
Was that the motion to pass?
It was.
Yeah, we did a system.
I thought we did.
We did.
I mixed you up. But
No, I don't.
I
That's
thought
why
we had
she's-
it, and
that's why
then
she
somebody
keeps
said we're at
those-
suspense, so.
That's why she keeps those nice charts, so you can go back and
We're
look.
listening, well, yeah.
Usually we open up for discussion after the motion to suspend, so as long as we did that, then we're good. Okay, go ahead, Paulding County Economic Development.
Membership for 2023, last year we did the gold level, which is 1,000 to 1999. We did a membership of 1,000. There is a copper from 1 to 249, a bronze from 250 to 499, silver from 5 to 999, the gold, which we did last year, 1,000 to 1,999, platinum 2,000 to 3,999, and diamond 4,000 and up.
I would recommend doing the same as last year.
That was 1,000, right? We
Yes.
did,
Yes.
right?
So is that a motion?
Is that a
Or
Yeah,
motion?
I don't know if there's any other discussion. Who says, anybody who
Have
says
your
we should
discussion.
go lower or
Sure.
higher?
What are the benefits of going higher?
We get more business in town. It's like,
What's the next level above that?
The next
to
level
1999.
is
Oh, 2000.
platinum 2,000 to 3,999.
I will, let me interject.
Yeah.
I think what you gain by spending more is just showing a greater level of appreciation
Right.
for the services rendered. I will tell you that I've worked with economic development groups in the past, and I'm amazed at what Paulding County has and the amount of work Tim puts forth in this community every day. I talk to him probably 4 times a week, and I think they're well deserving of whatever we give them. I think we more than get our money's worth.
I agree.
More money though going into that helps retain the people that are there though.
Absolutely.
It's a big deal.
And he's doing he's
Yeah.
really trying.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Every time I've dealt with him, it's been excellent. He's on his game, and I think he's doing big things from what I've seen and what I know. So, I mean, where's that? Does it come from the general fund?
Yes.
Does this money go
Did we do the
for
1,000
his
last year?
salary, or-
What's
It goes to
next
defray the
level?
cost of the overall
2,000.
operation.
But we could go anywhere in between. We could go up to
We just stay at the
1,500
gold.
and
Right,
still
we would
stay
just
in
stay at the
gold.
gold, but we would be able to get more, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we go 1,500 and 500 more than last year.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
So there's my bad. There's really no benefit to going. I mean, other than just giving them, like, if we 15 just puts us in the middle. So if we go to 2,000, there's really not a difference between 2,000 and 1,500, other than the money that's going to them and the label that we get, like, relative to gold versus platinum.
I assume you get some kind of recognition at the annual dinner, but.
But
You might have to get a speech.
yeah,
I would nominate you, Brian.
No,
I would stand up and applaud.
I appreciate that.
Any further discussion? I think we had a motion.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Jason Franks.
Yes.
Steve Jordan.
Yeah.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner.
Yes.
And then my last is the reader report. For the month of December paid in January, we brought in $30,994.08.
Any questions on the administrative report? I mean, I do have a couple interjections I want to put in. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, you're gonna have to get your printing more on the page.
Well,
It's slightly off the.
I noticed that, but see, I redid it and mine looks
Oh,
nice.
but mine is.
I went back and just wrote letters on each line.
Just made it up. I apologize. Maybe it was Amy's printing them.
Yeah.
Maybe I did print them. Okay, so Erie Street sidewalk, I need to have some direction. What do you want to do with that? We talked last month, the ODOT grant is insufficient to cover the cost of doing the sidewalk. I got a price that's under $49,000, and it's gonna be, I figure it's gonna end up being about probably 44, based on actual linear feet versus what we took off the engineer's print. We will spend far more than that if we use the ODOT grant. Far more than that. I just need you to tell me to withdraw from the ODOT grant. And if you want us to move forward, I've spoken with the auditor. We can take and assess the landowners, and we just have to provide them a copy of the ordinance or resolution that we create and the amount, and then they can put it on their taxes. And I asked, could we go up to 5 years? And they said yes. And the way I used to do it was based on the actual dollar amount. I mean, if you owned $300, we would do 5 years, but if you owned $8,000, we would do 5 years, because lot sizes are different. But I just need to know, does the village want to contribute towards building this sidewalk? Do they not want to contribute? Do you want the landowners to do it? Do we want to withdraw from ODOT? I just need to have some guidance on this.
I think we should withdraw from the ODOT, and I think the landowners along there need
They
to
will, but they're just discussing
pay for
right
the
now.
sidewalk, just because everybody else has had to pay for it. Nobody else has gotten grants.
I've been on the council 30 some odd years, and we've never assessed anybody for a new sidewalk. We've only assessed them to repair a broken sidewalk that they have.
The only problem with not assessing on the new is you open the Pandora's box up, because you have a lot of property that does not have sidewalks in the village.
I understand that, but, you know, with this dollar store coming in there may not be as much foot traffic out there as it is.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would like me to take the approach of notifying ODOT that we're going to withdraw and delay this program for a period of time, I have no problems with that either. I just need to know what you want to do.
We need the sidewalk, right?
We need a sidewalk, because people, that road, people drive 35
And it's,
plus on it, and kids are walking. There's been times people wear black sweatshirts, and I about hit them.
It's not unusual to see people walking out there at night. I mean, you gotta watch for
Yeah.
them.
Because they go to Dollar General when it's dark,
Yeah.
or the gas station,
Yeah.
and I think no matter what happens with Family Dollar, I think we need it, because it's just for the safety, because right now, if you're walking in this time of year through either snow or mud, that it encourages people to walk on the road. Where if we had a sidewalk and people had to keep their sidewalks clean like the north side of town, I think that says, no, now we have a place for you. And I think it might encourage people to do more on the south end of town. I think it might even help put business out there.
Yeah,
By having-
I can hear what he's saying, but what if I wanted to walk to the Sunoco station? I don't have any sidewalks. Are we gonna put sidewalks on the other side of 49? I mean,
Some of the property owners says that we should.
if I wanted to walk out to your office, is there sidewalks? I don't know.
I walked up
There's
here one
some-
time and there wasn't.
There's
Yeah,
there's
sidewalk on my side, you just have to cross the road to get to
Yeah.
it, which would be the same thing for Sunoco.
Yeah.
You have a
But what if I
sidewalk,
wanted
which
to go
is,
out there and get a cup of coffee?
you'd have to cross the road. Maybe we need to put a road crossing.
So
in.
why do you say penalize the ones that live on that side and not on this side?
Well, we could technically penalize them both. I mean, and in theory, we're not penalizing,
not
it's a
penalizing.
sidewalk. I mean, I had to pay for mine. And
Well,
I
that's
get,
different, that's different. That was an addition, that was in your contract.
right, but well, there's others, I guess, along the way. Yes, I'm a bad example.
What I'm saying is we've never in 30 some odd years assessed anybody for a new sidewalk.
We've never had a business in a location that needed a
Well,
sidewalk
that's
like
true,
that.
that's true. I'm just stating my thinking on this.
Were you on council in 2008 when you passed the thing to be able to do it, though?
When I done what?
To be able to assess people to the sidewalk price? Were you on
We
council
only
then?
assessed the people if they had a broken section. If the sidewalk was broken, they had to fix it. If there was no sidewalk, they didn't have to do anything, which is a crazy law, but that's the way it is, that's.
I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe we have full power to have the village residents
Oh,
put in
yeah,
sidewalk
I'm not.
anywhere we feel fit.
Yeah, and I think he's just throwing it out there. Like, I think we're all in agreement on the getting rid of the grant.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
agreeing on that.
So at least you can check that box. And
Well,
then,
we should probably do a formal motion.
I'll
so
make a
that way
motion
he's got
that
authority to
Brian
do
does
that.
not need to seek the ODOT grant anymore.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
No, what was the notion?
this is just for the grant. So we're getting rid of that ODOT
You're gonna go
grant. So that doesn't, nothing else beyond that. So we know that box we're checking, and then the rest of it, we can,
Because it's basically, if we try to get state funding to pay for it, it's gonna cost us more than if we just put it in
Who,
ourselves.
Yeah.
who you got in mind? Braggs?
I got a price from him, yes.
Right, yeah. What about that other guy? I don't know his name. There's another guy that puts in sidewalks.
Nick?
Yeah, there's,
Yeah, maybe.
well, there's
Nick.
Nick,
Baumgartner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Baumgartner, yeah.
and there's that guy in
Have you
Paulding
checked
who
with
does
him?
too.
Yeah,
Those much-
Nick's supposed to be getting his
those
price,
much-
do stuff in the village.
And you got one from Braggs?
Like his Spanish fella.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on the pending motion?
So what do we need? We're voting? on
We're
that?
just, I'm asking if there's any
Yeah.
further
no,
discussion,
I don't
and if
think
there's
so.
not.
That's just on the grant part.
then we can do the
I just
roll
said-
call.
Bryce Steiner.
Yes.
Jason Franks.
Yes.
Steve Jordan, I'm sorry, Steve Jordan first,
Yes.
then Jason Franks.
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt.
Yes.
Dean Reister.
Yes.
Brian Smith.
yes.
Have we ever approached Dollar General to see if they think they would go in on a sidewalk or put anything toward it, since it's their business that we're trying to help?
I wouldn't know who to approach, because all that would go through their corporate offices
Mhm.
and stuff, but,
I'll see if I can get your phone number.
okay.
I will.
I would be surprised if they'd be willing to help co-op it, but
We're full of surprises, right?
Yeah, Dollar General won't pay anything.
I don't think they will either, but I
But,
just
I mean,
think,
not
you
to
know,
knock,
it's
not
to
to knock them,
benefit
but I think it
them.
took them about a month to get their heat working. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't think there's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen, but, if we do, say, have the owners do it, we've gotta make sure that it lines up with the existing sidewalks that people have put in, like Paulding Hospital, but I am in full favor of it, because I think it needs to be, and I think it'd be a benefit for
If-
the whole town.
If we didn't have the landowners do it, is there a fund that we could pay this?
well, I mean, we'd have to take a look. I assume we'd most likely have to pull it from the general fund, because I don't know that we're necessarily flush in the other funds. I am able to utilize, we have a permissive tax that we get some from ODOT and we get some from the county. And that amount combined, I can utilize to do the sidewalk. Both entities have authorized me for that expenditure. The only problem is that you use that money in other areas in your village. You do your chip and seals, you do your crack fills, you do all these things. So you may negate your ability to do that for the next 12 months. So that fund, and it takes a while it's based off, license fees and taxes. I mean, it takes a while for it to build up. There's probably total, maybe 34,000. So there's not even enough to cover 100% of it.
As far as that end of town and the concern of not having that business out there, if another business comes into town, I firmly believe that if we got another business in town that was competition for that business and they decided that they was gonna close up, I would presume there would be something else that would take that spot, because that is a prime location right by the highway. So having another business out there, depending on what kind of business it would be, I don't see that being a problem in the future.
Especially if that's the area we wanna develop.
Exactly.
Towards
So,
the highway.
I think it's nothing but gains to have that sidewalk done. I pushed for that sidewalk 3 years ago before COVID, and we stopped progress on that, and I was disappointed, but I'm back on the wagon again. I'd like to get it moving as quick as we can. There's a few other things I'd like to get moving too, but that's,
So how do you want to do it?
I think we should start doing it and assess the cost onto the owners, that whether they want to do it themselves and they can do it to the specs that we do it and pay for it straight up, or they can hire somebody else as long as it's done to the specs of the requirements of what we want, or we can assess it under their taxes. It'd be up to the homeowner to decide which of the three choices they want to do.
How much are you talking about? What's the difference between,
How much a person would pay?
how much per foot? Yes.
I had that. I didn't bring the quote.
It seemed like it was a pretty good price when you
I
got
was-
all of them in together.
I think it was.
It was like 45,000. Is
About
that
40
something?
Roughly $45 a linear foot.
How much?
$45.
And this is a 4-foot wide sidewalk.
4 inches thick with
4 inches
reinforcement,
thick.
Yes,
finished and cut
complete.
and,
Well, that's
and
gonna cost,
landscaped.
that's gonna cost some of the
You're
property
pushing it.
owners $4,000 to $5,000.
What's that?
That's gonna cost $4,000 to $5,000.
It might.
It depends on, as an example, okay, so
There,
you have lots anywhere from 60 feet to 175 feet wide.
Right.
So it's depending upon your lots. So if you have a 60-foot lot, you're at, $2,600 or whatever it is. And if you're at 175 feet, you're roughly $8,000.
Village will be on the hook for that lot 606 or 604 for they're gonna put in the
I go back to
road.
what I'm saying.
Talking about the Stumpy property?
That's
Yeah.
CIC,
that's
CIC.
CIC.
not us.
Did the sidewalk stop at the driveway? Trying to remember.
At the,
We had a
We
driveway.
had said
come
they
through, we
could stop at the
and-
driveway.
yeah, they would stop at the edge of the driveway
Okay,
and then pick up on the other edge of the driveway.
yeah.
Will we move water meters or go around?
Go around.
We go around.
Go around.
Go around landscape.
Everything,
go around
yeah, that's the
meters,
point of doing it
Go around
around.
trees.
Benefit, I guess, of doing it around is you can.
least invasive as possible.
Is this something that we would need a resolution for? Or is this something that we need an ordinance on?
I think we would need an ordinance.
And it's
To
something we
require,
can.
if you're gonna require people to put in sidewalks,
Mhm.
I think you would need an ordinance and probably 3 readings.
And I would,
Oh, you
I would
have-
say absolutely 3
Or
readings.
do we already have?
We
an
You have an
One
ordinance
opportunity to come
that
in here and talk.
addresses sidewalks
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely, I want,
Ordinance,
And requires them to put it in without doing anything further?
I can't answer that.
I'd have to research.
There
it.
is an assessment of sidewalk, installation of sidewalks. At its option, the village may utilize the provision contained in chapter 727, 729 of the revised code to construct, repair, or replace sidewalks, curbs,
So I could
or
look at
gutters in
that
violation of
process.
any section in
I'll look at the process,
Please-
look at those sections and
please
report
do,
back.
because, yeah,
Find copies
for the
if you want
safety
me to
and,
make a copy.
and for everything, it's,
On
we got what
the
we need.
requirement for that, Brian, the 4 foot wide and the 4 inches reinforced, is that a state requirement or is that a requirement that we came up with?
That's just good general practice.
Okay.
It's not state requirement. ODOT's is
Oh, that I
very,
know.
it's very strict.
Yeah.
When we have, on our village, we have to match whatever was existing, so I know there's some places in town that got away with a 3-foot wide sidewalk.
Yeah.
Because the old existing was 3-foot wide.
Okay.
The Dollar General's 4 foot and then the medical center's 4 foot.
Yes.
I
Paul-
think
is
that's
Paulding
what put all the way
Hospital
down.
there? Okay.
The only other thing that I want to bring up is that I've been in contact with Representative Roy Kloppenstein regarding House Bill 45, which the governor signed back on January 6th. He set aside $250 million for water projects. The caveat is, excuse me, is that over a year ago, we had to have applied through the county engineer, and we had to rate the projects that we had in order of need. So I rated number 1 being the water tower. We did an engineer study. We submitted that. It did not get funded, but we got money for the engineering assessment for a water plant instead. The benefit is that if you did not go through that process, you are not eligible for any money of the $250 million. So the water tower would be eligible if it is chosen. So I reached out to Roy to ask him to try to do what he can for us. And then I got an email from the EPA this week, and they'll be sending us information for me to resubmit that project for another review. So may have a chance at having that rehabilitated.
That kind of limits the projects. Then,
The pool?
doesn't it? Yeah, because you had to be in it the year before.
Yeah, and some of the stuff was, you know, funded and stuff, so that it even shrinks that pool down more, but, I mean, you know, it's like anything in this state, you know, there's 10,000 times more projects than there is money, so they're not gonna be absent of projects, but, so I've asked Roy to do what he can to assist us, so that is my report.
Do we need that on the Dollar Tree? Did we need a motion to approve this? Or not object to that plat?
Oh, I'm sorry. So, Dave asked us to pass a resolution. The Dollar Tree has, the property in which it's going to be built on has multiple parcels. The financial institution is requesting that it all be combined to one, for obvious reasons. If you ever had to take it back, you might not get the parcel that you want. So, the county engineer has done all of the work. They are just simply asking that council agrees to allow it to take place.
So it's not changing the plat. The plat stays the same. It's just really consolidating. They combine the legal descriptions. And obviously, so the bank can record their mortgage on
So
one legal description.
What's
So
the
we really
advantages
don't.
or disadvantages to doing that?
Well, the advantages for the financial institution is if they had to repossess the building,
Okay.
they're not trying to get all these parcels. It's all one piece, it's one property.
And we don't really need to approve or do anything, but we just need a motion that the village does not object to them combining the legal description on that plan that's reflected on this survey.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Let's back up a second. We've discussed sidewalks forever. No, really,
Is this part of it though, on combining the legals? I hate
We
to
have
talk
to-
about
we're in
something
the middle of a
different.
motion.
oh,
If
okay,
the
I'm sorry.
discussion is on
I'm sorry.
combining the legal descriptions, sure.
Yeah.
Let's have that
I think Bryce
discussion.
motioned and
Yeah.
Steve
Any
seconded.
further discussion on
But we didn't
combining the
vote.
legal, or no objection to the combination of the legal descriptions? Any further discussion on
There
that
would be
first?
no
They're
reason
all-
to object, would
They're-
you?
They're all
The bank-
zoned,
the
they're all
bank just-
zoned the same, right?
Yep, they're all zoned the
This does
same.
not affect zoning, it does not affect the
The only,
plat
the only one that wants it is the county engineer. I mean, we're not even obligated to do it.
thing.
It's just-
But
we're
the
just trying to
county
be a good
engineer
neighbor.
wants this, so.
Giving our blessing.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
where are we at with this?
We have a motion, we have a second. If there's no further discussion, we can do roll call.
Bryce
Yes.
Steiner, Steve Jordan.
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Brian Smith.
Yes.
Okay, we're done with that. We wanna go back?
Yeah, we talk about sidewalks all the time and we never reach a decision and it just gets put to the side. Let's make a decision.
I think Mel's
Well, I'm
researching
supposed
it.
to research
Revised
the
code.
process.
Revised
This-
code.
So we have an ordinance in place that says at our option, the village may utilize it, require the installation of sidewalks, but we have to follow the chapter 727 or 729 of the Ohio Revised Code on the repairing, replacing, or constructing. So
Okay.
I have been tasked with researching that process to report back at the next meeting.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
Now, does that mean you'll create an ordinance too, or do you want to find out?
I would rather come
Okay.
back and tell you this is the process and then you instruct me, because
Okay.
it sounds like there's two different processes, because it's 727 or 729, so I'd rather have you understand what both of them are, and then you can tell me which one you wanna follow, and
Okay.
then come back with a
Okay.
proposed ordinance.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Ready, Brian?
Yes, ma'am, it is, thank you.
Do we have any committee reports? Under new business, we have
On the-
waste.
Excuse me, Jan, on committees, just to advise the Public Safety Committee, I'd like to have a meeting when you two gentlemen can work out a time, let me know, next week if possible.
Not tonight.
Not tonight, no.
Get you in at 8:15, 8:20.
That was it for me, yeah.
Okay. What's the new business with real waste? It's just that we've done it,
So,
it's all
no,
done?
we haven't done
Okay.
it. So the next step, what we need to do is if the council wants to renew it for that 1 year, we do have to go through the 3 readings, which we did the first one tonight, but there is a provision that we have to give them notice of our intention that we want to renew it. So if that is the intention, obviously have your discussion, but then we would need a motion and a second to authorize the village administrator to send that notice of intention to renew it for another 1 year period. Again, that starts April 1st and goes to March 31st of the next year.
I think
So-
Real Waste has done a good job. I'm in favor.
I'm in favor.
I've never
Yeah.
gotten any complaints.
So do we need a resolution or a motion?
Just a motion and a second, and then if there's any further discussion, if not, then we can do the roll call.
Who was the motion?
I'll second it if nobody did.
Any further discussion? Okay.
Steve
Please
Jordan,
proceed.
Ray Steiner.
Yes.
Jason Frank.
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt.
Yes.
Gene Reister.
Yes.
Brian Smith.
Yes.
Can you tell me that again? I've got two
Are you
authorized
done,
budget.
Melissa? I'm sorry, I was taking
I
notes.
did.
It's just a motion to authorize the village administrator to send a notice of intention to renew for another one-year term to Rural Waste.
Okay.
Okay? Do we have any old business?
Could I, oh, go ahead.
Under new, I was just gonna make a suggestion, and I don't know how this will float, and I mean, it's like, just like, again, the suggestions are out there. But could we move like the meetings to Tuesday nights, just relative to all the holidays on Mondays, and Mondays tend to be busy for everything? And just throwing it out there. Again, like, I think there's probably some positives, and I'm sure there's things that aren't, but just throwing it out there, so.
Is this for next year, since we authorized it
Well,
last month?
I mean, technically, you could change the dates, I suppose, on that. I don't know how that would all work. So I was just throwing it out there, again, because there's holidays and different things, and Mondays seem to be busy, and if people go on vacation or out of town, you know, that kind of can drag into Monday. So that was just my thinking on it, but again,
I can't do Tuesdays. I got big kids playing sports, so Tuesdays are a big day of games for me. So, but
Wednesday nights are not sports nights though.
right.
That's a win night.
Or when.
Yeah.
Can we get
We can have it delivered.
the meeting sponsored by
Haven't
Wings?
you guys figured out I'm hangry because I missed my wing?
Nice.
Do you want a piece of pizza?
I could have brought you a wing, buddy. I didn't know that was the problem.
Throw him a candy bar.
Yeah,
I tried to give him one. I told him I didn't want him to be a Betty White
that
tonight.
was sneakers, buddy. Or Wednesdays. I don't know. I was just thinking Monday seems to be with the holidays, and again with the vacations and things that drag over, and it just.
How's this work with your schedule, man?
What's that?
How's
How's
this
it
work with your schedule?
As long as it's open, and I set them all, when I get that passed, I
You
put them
fill out
all on
your
my
book?
calendar, so that way they're set for the whole year.
So it's
I
something
mean,
we might consider for next year.
Like I said, I was throwing it out there, and
You got a good point about Mondays.
it's just.
Well, you
seems
do
like
Wednesdays for the first 2 months, and then
There
you
is
got,
three.
you got about 3 Mondays, then you have another Wednesday, so you're gaining
There's-
on your Wednesdays.
So we're already doing Wednesdays at the time.
There's three a year right now that we do Wednesdays.
Okay. So yeah, so already a quarter of the year we're doing on Wednesdays.
We
So-
have found out the hard way through our ed program. There isn't a time available that's gonna be convenient for everybody.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't care what it is.
Yeah. Well, and not understandable. And again, I was just
But that's a good point.
just looking at the
I'm
those
always available between 4 and 6 a.m.
any day.
Any day.
Any day. Nice.
7 days a week.
Can
I have a
zoom
problem
in
with
on
that. Usually asleep at that time.
Make sure you tape that so the rest of us can see it.
We'll play it back regularly every
I
meeting.
would continue to have that discussion though, because we do the first reading in October for the next year.
Okay.
So, I mean, if it's something you wanna do different next year, you know, just make sure that you all agree to what it's going to be, and then when that first reading is done in October, it sets the, whatever that day is gonna be and whatever time that's gonna be.
Well, that's something for you guys to think about, and then
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll
obviously
think
we're
about it. 'Cause
not
I'm
making
sure
a decision tonight,
we're
but
probably all
that's-
gonna run into a date where we can't make it for something.
So
Yeah.
put it on the agenda for October's meeting.
Do at least August, I would do
September.
August,
Push it back.
September is when you make the final decision, and then it's in the reading of the ordinance in October.
Does that have to go to a committee?
I wouldn't know what committee would be doing that. That's all, it's you.
I think it's archives.
this
It's the archives committee, isn't it?
Nice.
I have another new
That's why I
business.
brought it up.
Records
thing.
and
Can I move on? Can I move to a new business item?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, somebody
Yeah.
approached me when we had the big freeze, and it was -8 degrees, because if you lost power, is there a place in town that has power and possibly water, like a backup generator that people could go to if they, if a section of town goes out? Do we have an emergency place that we can go to?
Fire and EMS.
Fire and EMS building has, so we do have a legitimate place that people,
Yes.
that we can let people know? Okay. Okay. 'cause
And
I-
that, we could coordinate with the, EMA
Yeah.
get anything set up, because they have portable generators that can be brought in also.
Okay,
And so they
but
make
the
sure
building
that
does
happens.
have a generator and,
Yes.
okay, so
Fire
we can let
engine,
people
that's what
know that that's the case if we have flooding or storm or bad freeze, they can go down there and stay warm.
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm drawing a blank, what's that called?
a generator?
No, the emergency place you go to, what, shelter?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Couldn't think of the word.
Can you get that in your paper?
yes.
and in the event something does happen.
In the event
we would be in
that there's a
we
mass
would be-
power outage in the village.
Right, well, and we would be.
Or flooding or something like that.
We would be able to talk to EMA and get things set up permanent, like a more permanent position, because if you're using the stations, then crews would be in and out, and it's kind of not gonna stay warm, because the doors will be open, but,
You got a kitchen
So-
at least, so we could eat.
yeah,
That
but it's
seems
always
to be
cold.
pretty important for all of us here.
We did that during the blizzard of '78, it was not easy, but we coordinated it and kept them at the firehouse and at the Catholic Center,
Oh,
in and out, and people took, we had 2 busloads of people stranded, people took them home, you remember that, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
when
Yeah.
it snowed.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know we've used the VFW too before.
Yeah, we
A
ran,
bus got stuck out here.
we ran ambulance on snowmobiles,
It-
we had 5 runs that weekend.
We set up cots in there, yeah.
Okay, well then we'll let
I
people
remember
know.
that.
And I have one, I don't know if it's
Okay.
old business or new business, because I kind
Okay.
of brought it up one other time, but I'm kind of comparing apples and oranges, so hear me out here. We're having several new apartments put in the old dry cleaner building. I'm sorry, offices, not apartments. And I've been down and looked at them, they are,
No, wait, back up. I didn't hear what you said.
okay, we have some new offices going in the dry cleaner
The dry
building.
cleaners, okay. Mhm.
And I've been down and looked at them on a couple different occasions, I think Brian has, and they are extremely nice.
Really good.
And I've talked
good.
about what the rent would be, and it's $570 a month, but he covers utilities. And my thoughts are, I think we need to pursue to see what our utilities are costing us out at the depot, because I know these people freeze to death in wintertime and cook in the summertime. And the utilities have gotta be horrendous out there.
Yeah.
And I hate to pay rent when we've got a building, that doesn't make sense, but it might save us to pay rent as opposed to what we're paying for utilities. And it also, there's a convenience factor there. Amy, would it be possible to get a printout of what our utility bills run a year for out there?
So the gas and electric was on your financial report. Gas was over 400, it was 470,
A year,
that's a month.
A
ain't it?
month.
just in the winter.
Is that a budget?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's,
It's like $20 in the summer.
yeah, for gas. Electric is probably
I
100.
have them.
Yeah, he'll pick up the electric, and of course the water sewer doesn't cost anything. And Medicom, am I correct? We don't-
No,
Meadowlink.
it's
Meadowlink.
Meadowlink
Yeah,
is who he's gonna do the internet
So,
with, is what he
yeah.
said.
and I was just curious as to if it'd be cheaper to do that. They're really, really nice, and he said he would be glad to set up a date if anybody would like to see it, so we go down there as a council or a few of us or whatever.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
How
Do
many
we still-
offices does he have?
He has
Four.
4 with a conference room, and he already has 2 offices rented.
Is that per office?
Yes.
570? Okay, how many offices would we need, like 2?
Well, at least 2, one for him and one for
Bill
or the
and
new girl, yeah.
Is there still an opportunity to get rid of the depot? Like the train, I know there was at some point talk of like one of the trains.
The,
He's checking historic on.
Yeah, we had to, I don't know if anyone gathered the data, but I know we talked last time, somebody needed to go back and check if there were any,
I checked, I went through Maumee Valley and stuff, and
conditions. Okay.
there's nothing outstanding.
because we got certain funding that
The
you have to
railroad,
be careful with.
changed.
Yeah, and I don't know, I just
Yeah,
knew
so
there was
the,
talks of it selling.
so the
or whatever.
railroad, sold the line several months ago to a company called Patriot. And, Mr. Cops has a meeting with them before the end of the month, and that's one of the topics he's going to ask them, since they are now the new owners of the rail line, if they would have interest like the prior owner had interest in.
Okay.
The one thing I will tell you about the depot is that it is going to need some attention.
It's gonna be what?
It's gonna need some attention. It needs to be either scraped or power washed. It's gonna need the exterior painted.
Just
part of
normal
this.
upkeep stuff, like,
Well,
I mean, not normal,
The painting
but
won't be
above.
cheap, yeah, and then you got nail pops on the west side that are sticking out 2.5 inches that, I mean,
makes
it's,
it interesting.
well, it's just, you're gonna end up spending some money,
Yeah, okay.
so,
Are we gonna see an increase in rail traffic because of this?
I have no idea.
I think they
that's
anticipated
their
it with all the,
That's why they put all the
I
gates
think
there,
that they-
crossing-
yeah,
crossing
I
I
mean,
think
everything.
they reworked the whole rail.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
so
think
if
that
we.
the intent is to build a yard and have warehousing and cross docking and things like that,
Oh.
but that's, I mean, I went to a meeting in the last year in Paulding regarding that, but it's an expensive venture. But
Oh, yeah.
I would assume that they have plans to cash flow the purchase of the railway. I would,
Well, they've got one facility that's quite built over in Defiance. It uses this line, Tassenderlo.
oh, okay.
And that's gonna be one of the big users of the line, and they put over 35 million in.
Who is it?
Tassenderlo. They're a big fertilizer company out of Colorado.
So anytime the village wants to sell village-owned property, they have to, make a declaration that it's no longer needed for municipal purpose. And then you would have to set it out there for people to bid on it. You can't,
Or you
just-
could
Can't
sell
make
it.
a
Well,
private
first,
sale.
I mean,
You
first
could-
we gotta
you
find
could-
out if those, I mean, like his suggestion, see what the budget, the numbers come up to. Cause if it's the same or cheaper to do the offices, then that makes sense, I guess, relative to going through that, like figuring out if we wanna sell it. before we-
Right, if you don't need, you do have to, make sure there truly is no need for it, no
You
municipal
can,
need.
but you can take and you can actually sell it to the CIC, and the CIC can broker the deal, and you don't have to go through that process.
Gotcha.
That's why CIC
You're talking about
exists.
the H&H traders,
No, I'm
No,
talking about the depot.
about the depot.
How many square foot
CICs
is
are
this?
designed.
The offices were the
as-
H&H cleaners that I was just talking about, the new offices, they're
Yeah,
H&H,
yeah.
but we're talking now about the depot.
About the depot.
Yeah. I mean, CICs are designed to broker deals back and forth with governments when it comes to properties, so you don't have to go the bidding process, and you don't have to do all these other functionary duties. So,
Is
How
there
many square foot
off-street
is that
parking?
building out there?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
Is there off-street parking down there? I mean, how big a parking spot?
there's
would that
parking
be?
behind it.
parking behind it, yeah.
In 2022, we spent $1,600 on electric at the depot.
1600.
Gas, I'll have to get you.
Okay.
That's for the year.
So
Do
what?
we pay for internet down there?
No, we are free.
140,000.
Okay.
That was just electric.
Yep.
Okay, he will pick up utilities on that, so.
And our internet's free, so you're not saving anything on that. Our water's free, you're not saving anything on that. It's just gas.
So we're not spending a whole lot out there.
Gas
Well,
is
depending on what
500 a
gas
month for,
is.
500 a month for
And then I
6
guess-
months.
Probably 4 months.
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
on extreme, 6 months,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, so, we're still not hitting,
12,000.
Yeah.
For rent.
right.
Well,
How many offices do we have out there? 2?
1.5.
We got a meeting room and 2 offices, don't we?
Yeah,
We have 2 desks. This is, we have 2 offices.
okay.
Need a shower curtain.
You know what, I could put one up,
That's free.
temporary wall. I'd have to probably talk to Gabe and get a building permit.
I don't have any more new business.
I don't know if that was new or old.
Well, I had brought it up one other time, so it's probably old business.
It's old business.
Okay, any other old business?
Okay, I don't have a mayor's report for tonight. You can supply me with one. So,
So,
Adjourn?
well, we need the president pro tempore. 'cause
Oh,
we
yes.
have- We gotta use the language that's in the Ohio Basic Code.
yes,
We
yes.
need, every year, nominations, and then once nominations close, then a motion to,
I would nominate who we have right now. Or Dean.
any other nominations?
Yeah,
or-
this is where I'm at with it. I'm gonna nominate Mr. Brian Smith. I've been sitting in the position for 3 years now. And
But you gotta stay under it till you get it right.
Do we really have the time?
And with my short time with Brian, working in the committees, I think Brian would suit the position quite well. And I think it would look good on his resume if he does run for another position for the village this fall. So that would be my nomination, would be for Brian Smith.
Did you just nominate me for mayor?
He does not have that authority.
Yeah.
But any other nominations or discussion on the two nominations? Need a motion to close nominations?
I think we should close nomination.
I'll second.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
and Bryce Steiner.
Yes.
So we have two nominations, and somebody can do a motion to appoint one of those nominated people to serve as the president pro tem board.
I'll make a motion.
And
For which
who-
one?
For which one?
Brian.
Okay, thank you.
Coin flip.
I'll
And
second
then a
that.
second, any discussion?
O'Brien accepted.
I don't have to, we're trying to be
You never
honest.
asked that, never asked that question.
No, I mean, I'm honored that you would nominate me. I don't know that I am.
Worthy?
Yeah, there you go.
We're done.
But like I said, I appreciate it, and I would do it if that's what people want. But I also think you've done a good job at it.
Thank you.
And I've been appreciative of how you've handled, like when I came in and was new, going over everything with us and just being supportive of. And I think the other new guys would agree with that. So, I mean, I think you've done a stellar job at it. So, I don't know that you need to not have the position, but I get if you don't want it, then I would accept it if I was nominated. So, like that's.
You've been nominated, now we have a
Is
motion
that the
to
acceptance
appoint.
speech?
Yeah, probably not. I don't need to work on that.
Before everybody votes.
Yeah, right.
All right, I think we're ready for a roll call.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Can I vote for myself?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sure.
and Bryce Steiner.
Yes.
Do
Dean,
you
Thanks.
need discussion
thank
on
you
this?
for doing it. You did a great job.
For certain, like I said, I
Included in
appreciate
your
it.
packets, the committees, we left everything as it was. We had new ones, everybody's been doing a great job, and nobody requested to be removed from any committees, so I left you where you were.
6:32.
We,
Any questions on the committee?
What does records and archives do?
I think they're supposed to meet every year and go through, there's a retention policy. I'm using the wrong word, I know it's, I can't remember
No, you're using
exactly.
the right
Is that the right word? I think that's supposed to be reviewed every year.
So we probably should have met last year.
We might have failed on that. Yeah. Hey, we got a second chance at it. So.
Okay, so we don't have a retention policy,
We do. There is one.
not with the state.
There is one that was approved and supposed to be sent to the state. It was when Ray was the mayor.
Nothing on file.
We do have one. I remember they used to meet.
Sounds like a good time to have a meeting
I
and
think
figure
we'll-
this
I
out.
just said,
I think Loretta was the fiscal officer at the time, so it was a while ago that was.
We need to meet to figure out if we need to meet.
Yes.
yes.
Copy that.
Okay. And, yeah. Sounds like it's an exciting time.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to adjourn if nobody else has anything to bring up.
I'll second if you have those.
any second.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yep.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.